Hello, welcome to a BMC how-to video, using Swagger to access the BMC Common REST API, or CRA. My name is Steve Meschke. I'm a Senior Support Technical Analyst here at BMC. Today, we're going to discuss using the Swagger UI to access the Common REST API. The BMC Common REST API provides a user-friendly interface to experiment with the REST API calls known as the Swagger UI. You can make calls to the API from any scripting or programming language that supports HTTPS. But you can also use the Swagger UI from any browser without any programming effort on your part. Please note that Swagger is only for development and exploration purposes only, not to be used for production. To access the Swagger UI, in your web browser, enter the URL in the following format: https://servername:/port/CRA/swagger. For example, this would be https:// the name of your CRA host. This would be the name that you have your BMC products on, the port number you've specified for those products, CRA/swagger. This launches the Swagger UI, which enables you to explore and interact with all endpoints in the REST API. For security purposes, you need to authenticate with a token. Requests in the REST API must be authenticated. The authentication mechanism is token-based. The Swagger UI lets you generate a token from the credentials of a valid user of a BMC mainframe product who is granted the right to log in using web services. Also note that the token is a JWT token, otherwise known as JSON Web Token, which is more secure. Okay, let's move on to a demo. I've already opened a browser and I've already put in the URL to my test server, which will allow us to access CRA using the Swagger UI. This is a development tool that is designed to give customers access to the CRA tool to be able to look at this in a graphical format and hopefully make this more intuitive for new users working with the REST API. Okay, now that we have access to the UI, let's go ahead and log in. So what we need to do is we need to generate a token. So what we'll do is we'll scroll down to log on. We'll expand, click on try it out. Then we have to put in a service name, a username, and a password. If you don't know what your service names are, you could scroll down to views, and then you can say get a list of services. Now you don't need a token for this, so you can just say go ahead, try it out, and hit execute. And then we come down to the server response. You'll see here's a list of all the available views that we can use. Okay? So this is the first thing. So if you're not sure what services there are, click here without doing a secure login and just get a list of what services are available. Okay, so let's go ahead and collapse that. Then we'll go back up here. Now I happen to know this is a particular service I can use. So then I'll put in my username. Okay, and then I'll put in my password. Okay, then I'll go ahead and hit execute. Now this isn't my real name and password, so what I'll do is I'll jump to another screen, put that on, and then we'll get the token. So just hold on a moment while I do that. Once we've put in this information, we can go ahead and hit the execute button. Please note that the token will only be available for the next 15 minutes from the last use, which means as long as it is used, it will be available unless you stop using it for more than 15 minutes. Then you'll have to generate a new token. So now we got a response from the server with a successful response code. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this and highlight this user token, as you're seeing me do here, between the quotes. Then we'll go ahead and copy that. Okay. So now what we can do, okay, so we'll scroll up to the top here where it says authorize. We click the authorize button and then you see token. Okay, so go ahead and paste this token in there and say authorize, then close. Now you'll see there are locks here which will show us that we now have a secured connection. So what then I'll do is I'll just go ahead and go down here and say, well, let's get a list of products. So we say get, and it says try it out, and then we'll say execute. Now, as you can see, we now get a list of all the products that are installed on the server, such as Plex Manager, MVIP, MCIS, MV Alert. So you could see now that we could see this information, and this provides us with the ability to use this information to create connect strings and to allow us to pull what's available from the products without needing an in-depth knowledge. You can just come to Swagger and get the information you need. So as we come here, you could do this for servers, system, targets, for specific views. So let's try this for a view. Okay, and let's try, let's see here. What product should we use? Let's try Plex Manager. Okay. So we'll scroll down. So I'll put our product name in, and we'll say Plex Manager, and we'll say execute. Now we'll get a list of available views for Plex Manager. So then let's go ahead and copy admin so we know that that's an available view. So if we scroll up a little bit and collapse this, then we could say data. I want to get data from a particular view. So in this case, we know the view, or the, I'll try it out. Then we'll put in the name of the product and the name of the view, which I happen to remember being admin. Then we can go ahead and hit execute. Now this is a perfect example of bringing back the data that you would see in a view inside the product, except we're bringing it back in JSON format. Now that it's in JSON format, you could see all the information. This information can then be forwarded to other products. It can be forwarded to scripting tools, things of that nature. But this shows you all the information for the current view data at the moment. Now, if you created a script that would pull the API on a regular basis to retrieve this information, throw it into a database, put it into a logger, you could put it into your own custom views. Those are all things you can do with it. So this really gives you an ability to browse what's available with our products, and in a very handy one-stop interface. Okay, finally, why don't we take a look at the definitions view. So we go to views, we'll scroll down, and we'll get definition by parameters, and we'll expand. I've already put in a product name, Plex Manager, and a view that we've sent. So we'll go ahead and hit execute, and then we'll go here. And now what we'll see here is we'll actually see how to construct the view. So before we saw the data that was going to be populated in a view, but what this is this shows us how the view is actually constructed. So if you wanted an example of how to create your own views using this kind of information, this is a way to see how we do it, and you can pick up this information and use this to create your own views. That concludes this how-to video. If you have any further questions, please feel free to contact BMC Software Support. Thank you.